All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is joining in. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm very happy to say that we have Iliana, Giacomo, Mustafa, and Vanessa here with us discussing on the topic privilege in the educational context. We are studying together in the same program of education and globalization, but despite of being in different countries, we have the privilege of using this technology and being able to connect together and discuss our theme and our contributions in this journal. So the theme that we have is uneven starting points in education that we are discussing. And the question that we have is, how do uneven starting points delineate different pathways that affect a child's journey through education?
So me and Vanessa wrote an article about having good school infrastructures. And we wanted to say that there is a difference between having good school infrastructures and no infrastructures at all. For example, a fully equipped laboratory for science experiments and a classroom without desks or even a blackboard to write.
And we do realize that the reality for many students in many countries today is very dire. Walking painful miles each day to get to overcrowded classrooms with inadequate facilities. Every child has a right to good school infrastructure that will ensure a good and bright future for themselves and generations to come.
Following up on that, I can also say that my piece of article talks about the privilege that a group of students have to technology, and having that access to technology makes you part of that elite minority. And then not having access makes you part of that underprivileged majority. So considering the fact that we have so many students that struggle and don't have access to education or access to digital literacy, we can see that huge disparity on how how we have students who are going to grow, move forward in life, and then have a group which is very well aware of how to use technology, and the other which is not at all digital literate.
Well, for me, I liken education to a field, and I wrote about imbalances in a classroom, being the field, and underprivileged students are kind of on the lower end of the field. So for them, their work, the effort that they put into education does not yield the results that is expected, because the field is actually against them, is tilted against them. So how do we uh, find a remedy to this problem? So I talked about equity instead of equality, because with equality, is the easiest, it is the easiest way, but it doesn't solve the problem. But with equity, which is um, providing tailored help to different kind of students in the same context, it would go a long way to level the playing field. I also talked about getting to know students beyond the borders of the classroom or the borders of the school, getting to know students home, where like their financial situations, their health situations, their what happens to their parents at home and everything. That way, students feel they can come to school and still get some love.
As you were saying, Mustafa, socioeconomic disadvantage cause hardships and constant insecurity. In my article, I focus on the many worries that children have to face. They are worried about everyday's life, how they will take care of themselves and their parents, their siblings, their relatives, if they have enough food, if someone is sick and need to be cared for. So often they do not have the chance to focus on their learning experience, even if they are in school. They cannot really enjoy their time with their peers and their teachers. So their existential dimension of time and hope is affected. They have to carry the load of these disadvantages. They start every single day under this pressure, and their future is uncertain. So therefore, they see the chance to enjoy their learning time as an inaccessible privilege.
You've heard what our articles are all about, or a synopsis of our articles. We hope that you'll be able to understand the importance of leveling the playing field for education for young people around the world, that education should not be only accessible for some, but it should be accessible for everybody, be it in infrastructure, be it in socioeconomic issues, being in the psychological manner, or in a technological way. We hope that our articles will be able to bring all these things into light, and also be able to spark some kind of discussion and bring up solutions in the end.